Welcome into our Big Ten Network studios in Chicago. I'm Lentz here with the Big Ten Wrestling Report. Before we get into the upcoming weekend's action, let's take a quick look back at this past weekend's action. Minnesota traveled to Carver Hawkeye Arena on Saturday afternoon against a Hawkeye team that was unbeaten in the Big Ten. The biggest surprise of the night, 125-pounder Sam Brankill upset third-ranked Tom Gilman, giving the Gophers an early lead. Minnesota won 5 of the 10 bouts, including a win at 157 by Dylan Ness over second-ranked Derek St. John. 197-pounder Scott Schiller is still unbeaten, and at the end of the day, Minnesota won with a final of 19-15. So here are the standings to date. With the win, Minnesota improves to 5-1 in the conference, but take your attention to Michigan, who is having their best season since 2006. The Wolverines have a big meet this weekend when they host top-ranked Penn State. We'll get to more on that in just a bit. And Iowa's loss moves them down to the middle of the pack. Northwestern All-American Jake Herbert is with us now on the phone to provide us with some more insight about perhaps the most recent match that happened on BTN, Iowa-Minnesota, a match that saw 2 ties and several lead changes throughout. But Jake, looking at that, what are your takeaways? In particular, what weight classes were a bit of a surprise?
Man, well, this is a best dual meet I think I've ever seen, come down to it. I mean, it starts out right away with 125. You have Sam Brankill there going against Thomas Gilman. Gilman ranked 3rd in the nation, coming off of a fantastic Midlands performance, and Gilman just basically gets beat bad. I mean, he gets thrown to his back, let up, taken down again, and then finally pinned by Brankill. And you know, nobody expected that to happen, to start off with a 6-0 lead there for Minnesota. And that went all the way through to the upset with, Tony Nelson not being able to finish it off up at heavyweight. You had Telford there, ranked number 3, taking out 2-time defending NCAA champion Tony Nelson. I mean, through and through, there's so many different weight classes that were just twists. You had Dylan Ness beat St. John. This was just upset city here, and that's why they have the NCAA Wrestling Tournament in March, because of these matches like this. It's just crazy. It's wrestling. It's awesome.
And this was a big win for Minnesota after getting defeated by Michigan. They now were able to go in and Carver Hawkeye and come away with a W. Looking at the race for the 2nd place in the Big Ten, Jake, what do you see happening, and what teams are really going to contend for that 2nd spot in the Big Ten?
Like you said it there best, it is a race for 2nd place. I mean, Penn State is too strong and too powerful this year. I mean, I know they didn't do a dual Iowa in a conference meet, but they beat them 8-2 in a non-conference friendly match, I guess, which is anything but friendly. But, I mean, Minnesota, is looking like, I know they knocked off, they got knocked off by Michigan, but I really feel between Minnesota and Iowa, that's going to be what it comes down to, and it's going to be hold true to how they finish up their seasons. I mean, any team can let their guard down and have a bad day with a few missing guys and a couple upsets. But, like we say in wrestling, that's why you have the tournament. You just don't go by the seeds. You actually got to wrestle to see if it gets done.
Penn State goes on the road this weekend against Michigan State on Friday and Michigan on Sunday. Jake, you're currently in Ann Arbor, so you can give us a little insight to the Wolverine team. But overall, what do you see happening in this #1 Penn State team going against Michigan?
I would love to say that, Michigan would have a chance, or Michigan State has a chance, but they're outmatched this year. Penn State is too powerful. They're too strong. Michigan's got to really use this as a gauge to see where they're at, to see how their kids are performing and how they performed and how they'll be better and ready, prepared for the NCAA and the Big Ten championships. I mean, it's going to be a fantastic weekend here for wrestling in the state of Michigan. I hope most of the kids are ready to watch and support these college athletes.
All right, Jake Herbert, thank you so much for the time, and thanks for getting us excited for the weekend's events.
Oh, I'm home. Thank you, Big Ten Network. I appreciate it.
Weekend wrestling starts on Friday with 3 meets you can watch streaming online at video.btn.com. Top-ranked Penn State starts their weekend, as mentioned, in East Lansing before they travel to Ann Arbor on Sunday. And on Saturday, Nebraska takes to the mat against Illinois at 5 p.m., that one on BTN. Sunday features the 2 remaining unbeaten teams in the Big Ten, Penn State and Michigan. Tim, Jim, and Shane on the call for that one. That's going to do it for this week on the Big Ten Wrestling Report. As usual, make sure you tweet at us at BTN Wrestling and use the hashtag B1G Wrestling. So long for now. Make sure to keep coming back here to BTN.com for all of your updates and scores around the weekend.